Shalom, I am Rabbi Shaul Praver. You're watching Rabbi Rock. We are here once again with our friend Frank Sims, the incredible Frank Sims. Welcome
Good to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, you've done a lot of things, and that must keep you going. You know, like when you get tired of one thing, not that you ever really get tired, but
no, that's right.
You move on to the music. You move from the music to the voiceovers.
Voiceover and then acting.
Acting.
Yeah.
That's what an exciting life you live.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
You having a fun time?
Yeah. I also am involved very heavily in my my performance union. It's called AFTRA, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists. Mm-hmm. And I'm an officer there, and I'm on the board. And what we try to do is we try to take care of the 80,000 members nationwide who are members of our union. Mm-hmm. All the people who you see on national broadcasts who are newscasters, Oprah Winfrey, David Letterman, the sportscasters, the actors on soap operas. Mm-hmm. All these people are members of our union.
Fabulous. Wow.
And there's many people, obviously there's a small percentage who actually work who are well known as the Lettermans and the Oprah Winfreys, but there's many other people who, again, who act on soap operas and who do commercials.
We might not know of them, but they're out there.
No, exactly. Yeah. You see them, but you might not know their names. But
just like we didn't know that you're the Kool-Aid Man. Who knew?
Yeah, now you know.
Let's hear it.
Oh, yeah. And so,
I love that.
So what I do is, and also everyone who records, all these people who record, for instance, Carly Simon is a member of our union.
Yeah, let's talk about Carly Simon. I'm going to hold this. Is that all right?
Sure, let's talk about her.
So we got Carly Simon, and this was a beautiful, beautiful location, wasn't it, that you performed this? It was kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Actually, it was funny. It was Menemsha, where she has a home. She has a home out in Cape Cod. She's always had a place in Cape Cod. And what they did is they scouted for a location that they could build a dock. Yeah. An authentic looking dock. With a little sort of a lit, sort of a little boathouse next to it, and the big pier, and the rope wrapped around the pier. But it was actually in the middle of a beach.
Look at that.
Middle of the beach. They created it, and the HBO people were integral in filming and directing and creating this piece. And everyone who was at the performance were people she invited, people from her hometown.
Look at that. Wow.
She preferred to play in front of her friends.
Okay.
So she invited people, her postman, the people that work, the mailman, the milkman, people who lived in the stores, worked in the stores, the hardware stores, people who she was friends with, all families. And they all came and sat in the beach. Yeah, the real people, and they sat on the beach, and we performed. So, and that was her greatest hits. So you'll hear many, 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 many of her hits, the greatest hits. Yeah. And I sang with two young women, and as background vocalists, and many other very, very, very well-known musicians played in the band. And we had a great time, and that was in 1984.
Okay. Now, you would know some anecdotes of what went on with the production. You would know some things about Carly Simon that might be interesting to hear. Yeah,
well, let's see. I'm trying to think of some of the interesting things.
Easy to work with?
Yeah, very nice lady, very nice lady. Yeah. Matter of fact, I worked with her recently. I hadn't seen her in a while, and she called us. The Glamour magazine did a show to honor the Women of the Year 2006, women who had done wonderful things for their community, for the world, and they had a woman, for instance, who was injured in the Iraqi war, who was a helicopter, a servicewoman in a helicopter who lost both of her legs.
Oh, God. Mm-hmm.
And she went on to work to help people with disabilities. There was a woman who was part of a slave trade in an Asian country, I can't remember exactly what it was, who went on to save other women in the slave trade. Queen Latifah, the well-known star, is integral in fighting for rights for poor children. The fashion model Iman is famous for creating makeup for women of color and fighting AIDS. So they wanted to honor these women. So they asked Carly Simon to perform one of the songs that I performed with her. There was a movie she did the theme song for called Working Girl with Harrison Ford and Melanie Griffith, about a girl from Staten Island who comes to New York to work in an office.
Remember the line, how it goes a little bit? You remember that song a little bit?
It was like, let the river run, da 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 da. So I sang with her on the actual record, which is, again, quite a while ago, maybe 18 years ago. And then they asked her to perform the song live in Carnegie Hall. So we did it without a band. We just did it a cappella. So we had three, myself and two other singers, and a guy just played the keyboards. Two guys playing keyboards, and Carly and her daughter. And we sang in front of Carnegie Hall. And my first time in Carnegie Hall, I was very thrilled to be at Carnegie Hall. I'd never performed there before. I'd been there, but I'd never performed there on stage. So that was great. It was nice to see her again. So we did 2 or 3 rehearsals and performed the song and worked him and worked him and worked him. And she's very nice to work with. Very natural, very normal woman. Very great to work with. And very hip and very, very bright.
Yeah, and beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Also, yeah.
And so we had a great time. So that was just recently. That was just maybe within the last 8, 9 months ago we did that.
Any little anecdotes on You're So Vain? How it was written, where it was written?
Well, it's funny. Supposedly she had sort of a romantic entanglement with Warren Beatty way back, and then I guess somehow they no longer were together, and she wrote the song saying she thought he was so vain.
You probably think
maybe
the
that was a
song's about
perception. Yeah, that was her perception of, I guess, a relationship. Of course, that's personal. That's whatever they had to do.
Right.
But
she used that personal stuff to make a nice song.
Yeah, but the thing was, in the studio, she asked Mick Jagger to sing, blah, blah, think this song is about you. So he sang in the chorus, Mick Jagger. So that's his voice you hear on the record. But when we did the live concert, I had done the part, and there's a lot of cowbell. It happened to be that's a predominantly featured instrument in the song. So I played the cowbell and sang with the young ladies, my friend Lonnie and Casey, in the concert, and so played the cowbell and stuff, and sang the Mick Jagger part. So that was an interesting little anecdote.
That's a very it's a kind of an irony, because you probably think this song's about you. Well, it is.
But you know what? It's funny. That was a sort of a little known fact, unless you were privy to the gossip, so to speak. Yeah. But then they would actually bring it out in trivia contests. Who was it actually written about? And they would ask. And then somebody said Mick Jagger, Warren Beatty, and they mentioned a couple other names. James Taylor, which was once her husband. And then so they asked, it was a trivia. It became a popular trivia question. Who was it actually written about? Well, it was written about Warren Beatty. So.
Did Warren Beatty not like that?
I'm sure he didn't. Yeah, I'm sure he didn't.
Because sometimes there's these cultural wars, like
I know.
Neil Young wrote Southern Man, and then, the folks down in the South didn't like that too much.
That's right. Who was it? Leonard Skinner wrote, Sweet Home Alabama in response to that. Yeah.
And he,
in response to that,
really told
Neil Young. And then they mentioned his name in the song. Leonard Skinner mentioned his name in the song.
But that becomes sort of like these cultural conversations,
Yeah.
And one artist is talking to the other in a song.
And then, of course, I worked with Billy Joel, and Uptown Girl was about Christy Brinkley, and I went to the Christy Brinkley Billy Joel wedding, which was on a boat, a party boat, out in the middle of the East River.
Right.
And as soon as they said their vows,
that's right.
They started playing. I feel good. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
I knew that I would. Yeah. So that was a song that they popped on the record player as soon as. And then we went to a place called the River Cafe and had dinner. And they kept all the photographers at bay. And they were like yards and yards and yards. And of course, they had a police escort. And you saw all the photographers peeking around trying to get a shot of the couple. And then actually, I remember sitting outside with them one time, and they said, "Oh no, back up, back away, back away." They were just kind of like walking outside on the dock. They said, "No, shh, back away, back away. The photographer's right there." So people have to. Some people when they're when the photographers are after them, they want to be private. It's a tough fight. It's a very tough fight.
Yeah, it's not as easy and as rosy a life as people might.
But
think.
then you figure if you want to be in that limelight, and if you seek that, that's part of the territory.
Yeah,
it's part of the territory.
You have a platinum album and a gold album that you played on, that you sang on.
Yeah.
And one is, let's see which one we'll take a look at. We could start over here with the Billy Joel.
Well, it's the Billy Joel Greatest Hits Live. And what happens is when you're a performer on that, they will give you a replica of the record. Yeah. And they will give you a little shot of the cover, and then that's presented to me.
Maybe come in just a little bit, Bun. Yeah. That's very nice.
Yeah, see,
and you get
to commemorate the sale of, I get more than 1 million copies of the Columbia Records album and cassette, Greatest Hits Volume 1 and 2.
And now is that the platinum one or the gold one?
That one's a platinum one.
Oh yeah, let's have a look at that platinum. Now, when they say platinum, they really mean platinum, huh?
It's not really platinum on there, but it means that it's achieved a certain record. When it sold 500,000 copies, a half a million, that's a gold record. When it sells 1 million, it's platinum. And then, of course, you have artists who sell 6 or 8 million. That would mean to be sextuple or octuple platinum.
Wow.
That will happen.